accidentally dropped you. Hi. So, normally this is when I would be recording my TBR video, my Uno TBR video for next month. But I'm not doing my normal TBR video. I am doing a reading-a-thon with Clint, Kaylani, and Mel. I don't know why I can never say her name. So I am going to watch Kaylani's video to get the prompts. And this year they're doing something different where we're going to summer camp. Each YouTuber, each host basically is like your camp counselor. And each of them will have different prompts. So I've already kind of watched Mel's and Clint's and have decided to do Kaylani's. So let's watch her video and see what prompts she gives us. And then I'll let you know what books I choose.
See which camp you want to join. We will, of course, be having our 2 live shows. The first one with our author on June 18th at 12 p.m. EST on Mel's channel. And then, of course, our infamous After Hours live show will be on July 1st at 8 p.m. EST. It is on a Saturday, like our usual. We decided to split it up so that it would be a true farewell to Camp Seaonathon. So, that being said, make sure to check out the description box below and make sure to watch all the announcement videos for both Mel and Clint and see which team you want to join. There will also be a fun, friendly competition between our camp counselors where if you join a team and you read books, there will be a form down below where you can log the books that you read, as well as the amount of pages that you read in that book, and the camp with the most amount of pages read at the end of the month will be the winner. There will be no prize, just bragging rights and a good, friendly competition, which I think is always good.
So the first book that Kaylani has given us for our prompt is a book I never thought I would read. And for me, one moment, thought I already had it pulled up. Is Limitless Mind.
Limitless Mind Learn, Lead, and Live Without Barriers. By Joe Boehler. Publisher summary: in this revolutionary book, a professor of education at Stanford University and acclaimed math educator who has spent decades studying the impact of beliefs and bias on education, reveals the 6 keys to unlocking learning potential, based on the latest scientific findings. From the moment we enter school as children, we are made to feel as if our brains are fixed entities, capable of learning certain things and not others, influenced exclusively by genetics. This notion follows us into adulthood, where we tend to simply accept these established beliefs about our skill sets, i.e. that we don't have a math brain or that we aren't the creative type. These damaging, and as new science has revealed, false assumptions have influenced all of us at some time, affecting our confidence and willingness to try new things and limiting our choices, and, ultimately, our futures. Stanford University professor, best-selling author, and acclaimed educator Joe Boehler has spent decades studying the impact of beliefs and bias on education. In Limitless Mind, she explodes these myths and reveals the 6 keys to unlocking our boundless learning potential. Her research proves that those who achieve at the highest levels do not do so because of a genetic inclination toward any one skill but because of the keys that she reveals in the book. Our brains are not fixed, but entirely capable of change, growth, adaptability, and rewiring. Want to be fluent in mathematics? Learn a foreign language? Play the guitar? Write a book? The truth is not only that anyone at any age can learn anything, but the act of learning itself fundamentally changes who we are. And as Boehler argues so elegantly in this audiobook, what we go on to achieve. Please note, when you purchase this title, the accompanying PDF will be available in your Audible library along with the audio.
So the second prompt she gave us is a 2021 release.
The Bennett Women by Eden Apiakubi. Publisher summary. In this delightfully modern spin on Pride and Prejudice, love is a goal, marriage is a distant option, and self-discovery is a sure thing. Welcome to Bennett House, the only all-women's dorm at prestigious Longbourn University, home to 3 close friends who are about to have an eventful year. EJ is an ambitious black engineering student. Her best friend, Jamie, is a newly out trans woman studying French and theater. Tessa is a Filipina astronomy major with guy trouble. For them, Bennett House is more than a residence. It's an oasis of feminism, femininity, and enlightenment. But as great as Longbourn is for academics, EJ knows it can be a wretched place to find love. Yet the fall season is young and brimming with surprising possibilities. Jamie's prospect is Lee Gregory, son of a Hollywood producer and a gentleman so charming he practically sparkles. That leaves EJ with Lee's arrogant best friend, Will. For Jamie's sake, EJ must put up with the disagreeable, distressingly handsome, not quite famous TV actor for as long as she can. What of it? EJ has her eyes on a bigger prize. Anyway, launching a spectacular engineering career in the real world she's been hearing so much about. But what happens when all their lives become entwined in ways no one could have predicted, and EJ finds herself drawn to a man who's not exactly a perfect fit for the future she has planned?
So for the next prompt is to read a Kindle book or an ebook. Well, I'm strictly an audiobook listener, so neither one of those options will work for me. So I'm going to kind of twist this one. Instead of either of those, I am going to read a completed fan fiction story for this. And here you go.
Yuji Mutao was no stranger to the hospital. With his many suicide attempts, he managed to get to know a male nurse there. Adam treated Yuji like a younger brother, wanting 127W68 the teen to stay safe and out of the hospital so much. What happens when Yuji starts to receive letters from a classmate? Not only that, but Adam seems to know the person. What will Yuji do about this situation?
So for prompt 4 is a contemporary read. So for this, I have decided to read Beach Read, which has been on my TBR for a while. So looking forward to that. Here's the summary.
Beach Read by Emily Henry. Publisher summary. The instant New York Times bestseller from the #1 New York Times bestselling author of People We Meet on Vacation. Original, sparkling bright, and layered with feeling. Sally Thorne, author of The Hating Game. A romance writer who no longer believes in love and a literary writer stuck in a rut engaged in a summer-long challenge that may just upend everything they believe about happily ever afters. Augustus Everett is an acclaimed author of literary fiction. January Andrews writes best-selling romance. When she pens a happily ever after, he kills off his entire cast. They're polar opposites. In fact, the only thing they have in common is that for the next 3 months, they're living in neighboring beach houses, broke, and bogged down with writer's block, until, one hazy evening, one thing leads to another and they strike a deal designed to force them out of their creative ruts. Augustus will spend the summer writing something happy, and January will pen the next great American novel. She'll take him on field trips worthy of any rom-com montage, and he'll take her to interview surviving members of a backwoods death cult. Obviously, everyone will finish a book and no one will fall in love. Really. The Chosen Contender, Book 1 by Taran Matharu. Publisher's summary: The Chosen introduces the first book in the Contender trilogy, an epic young adult fantasy from Taran Matharu, author of the New York Times best-selling Summoner series. Throughout history, people have vanished with no explanation. A group of teenagers are about to discover why. Cade is settling into a new boarding school, contemplating his future, when he finds himself transported to another realm. He soon discovers their new world is populated with lost remnants from the past, prehistoric creatures, ancient relics, and, stranger still, people. Overwhelmed by his new surroundings, Cade has little time to adjust, for soon he and his fellow classmates are forced to become contenders in a brutal game, controlled by mysterious overlords. But who are these beings, and why did they choose these teens? Cade must prepare for battle, because hiding is not an option. Fans of fantasy and lit RPG will welcome this new character and world from the author of the Summoner series.
So prompt number 6 is favorite author. And which one did I choose for this one? For this one, I chose a author duo. I can't think of their names right now, but here's the book.
Broken Trust Dark Legacy, Book 2 by Tate James, Jamin Eve. Publisher's summary: They think they own me now. They think they've won and that I'll be their good little soldier. 4 dangerous, damaged, messed up boys. There used to be 5, but one of them died, and I'm starting to suspect he was murdered. I didn't ask for this. No one would ask to be played, manipulated, seduced, and betrayed. But that's what happened. Anyway, it wasn't enough for them to break me. Sebastian Beckett has decided that he can't let me go, but I refuse to forgive and forget his betrayal so easily. His fixation is bordering on obsession, but when we begin to suspect a spy within Delta, there's no time to deal with his feelings. Someone is selling us out, and it's having a dire impact. It's life and death hiding behind corporate greed. Let the battle begin.
Hi, so this is the next day. If you can tell by that I'm wearing a different outfit. I was in the middle of filming yesterday and something came up and I had to stop. So I'm back to finish my summer camp TBR list with my camp counselor, Kaylani. And I think she has a couple more prompts. So let's see what those are.
Or C.O.G. Mass, of course, Colleen Hoover, Marissa Meyer. There's a lot of my favorite authors that I could choose from. But again, this one is completely up to you and based off of your likes, wants, and desires. Spin number 7.
So for the next prompt, the prompt is to read a sequel. So I technically can use the Dark Legacy book for this one because it is book 2 in a series, which means it's a sequel. But I've been working on finishing the why am I drawing like what it's called? The Curse series. So I'm gonna read this. And I just wanted to say, fair warning, I am going to, if you haven't noticed by now with the rest of these, have the summary read to you. So if you haven't read the first 2 books, skip ahead until you see me come back on screen again. So
A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Brigid Kemmerer. Publisher Summary Bloomsbury presents A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Brigid Kemmerer. Read by Melissa Byron, Kate Hanford, Davis Brooks and Matt Reeves. Kingdoms will clash. Choose your side. The incredible conclusion to New York Times best-selling author Brigid Kemmerer's Cursebreaker series. Face your fears. Fight the battle. Emberfall is crumbling fast. Torn between those who believe Ren is the rightful prince and those who are eager to begin a new era under Grey, the true heir. Grey has agreed to wait 2 months before attacking Emberfall, and in that time, Ren has turned away from everyone, even Harper, as she desperately tries to help him find a path to peace. Fight the battle. Save the kingdom. Meanwhile, Lyamara struggles to rule Sil Shallow with a gentler hand than her mother, but after enjoying decades of peace once magic was driven out of their lands, some of her subjects are angry. Lyamara has an enchanted prince and a magical scraver by her side. As Grey's deadline draws nearer, Lyamara questions if she can be the queen her country needs. As the two kingdoms come closer to conflict, loyalties are tested, love is threatened, and an old enemy resurfaces who could destroy them all. In this stunning conclusion to best-selling author Brigid Kemmerer's Cursebreaker series.
So cool. Spin number 8 is TBR jar, and I actually have a TBR jar. Sorry, one moment. So here's my TBR jar. I'm gonna shake it, shake it, shake it. Prop you there. Oops, sorry. Prop you there for a moment. Which book will it be? So I don't often use my TBR jar, but let's see what it is. Oh. I think this one may already be on my list. Let me double check.
Dinner's ready. He's making his plate.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. I guess not. But let me double check. One is not. So this one is from my TBR jar.
The Killer Collective by Barry Eisler. Publisher Summary and Amazon Charts, Washington Post, and Wall Street Journal bestseller. A fast-paced, page-turning novel of betrayal, vengeance, and depraved secrets in high places from the New York Times best-selling author of the John Rain and Livia Lone series. When a joint FBI Seattle police investigation of an international child pornography ring gets too close to certain powerful people, sex crimes detective Livia Lone becomes the target of a hit that barely goes awry. A hit that had been offered to John Rain, a retired specialist in natural causes. Suspecting the FBI itself was behind the attack, Livia reaches out to former Marine sniper docs. Together, they assemble an ad hoc group to identify and neutralize the threat. There's Rain, Rain's estranged lover, Mossad agent and honey trap specialist Delilah, and Black Ops soldiers Ben Trevin and Daniel Larison, along with their former commander, Spec Ops legend Colonel Scott Horton. Moving from Japan to Seattle to DC to Paris, the group fights a series of interlocking conspiracies, each edging closer and closer to the highest levels of the U.S. government, with uncertain loyalties, conflicting agendas, and smoldering romantic entanglements. These operators will have a hard time forming a team, but in a match as uneven as this one, a collective of killers might be even better.
So spin number 8 is prompt number 8 is a 5-star prediction. And for this one, I'm going to use a book that I already have on my TBR, because that's one thing they highly recommend you do is double, triple, quadruple up if you can. So for prompt 8, I am going to be reading a Vow So Bad and Deadly. This is it if you don't remember. But that's what I'm going to choose for this. Time for the next one. And so our camp counselor, Kaylani, has just announced our 10th and final prompt. And that is a 2022 release. I'm going to have to go look at my books and see what I got. So, I'll be back. So, for this final prompt, I have chosen So This Is Ever After. Here is the summary.
So This Is Ever After by F.T. Lukens. Publisher summary. Carry On meets Arthurian legend in this funny, subversive young adult fantasy about what happens after the chosen one wins the kingdom and has to get married to keep it, and to stay alive. Eric hadn't thought much about what would happen after he completed the prophecy that said he was destined to save the kingdom of air from its evil ruler. So now that he's finally managed to, somewhat clumsily, behead the evil king, turns out magical swords yanked from bogs don't come pre-sharpened. He and his ragtag group of quest companions are at a bit of a loss for what to do next. As a temporary safeguard, Eric's best friend and mage, Matt, convinces him to assume the throne until the true heir can be rescued from her tower. Except that she's dead. Now Eric is stuck as king, a role that comes with a magical catch. Choose a spouse by your 18th birthday, or wither away into nothing. With his 18th birthday only 3 months away, and only Matt in on the secret, Eric embarks on a desperate bid to find a spouse to save his life, starting with his quest companions. But his attempts at wooing his friends go painfully and hilariously wrong, until he discovers that love might have been in front of him all along.
Ooh. And camp counselor Kaylani, I just said Kalani, geez. Kaylani has just given me an excuse to buy a new book. And that is for the last, I know I said the one before was the last prompt, but this one is the last prompt, to read the group book. And for that, the group book is The Nature of Witches. From what I know, it's about a girl who's a witch, and witches in this book, their powers are linked to the season with which they're born. But our heroine has a secret. She is not just connected to one season. Sounds good. I'm gonna go buy that right now and let you guys hear the summary. Bye.
The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin. Publisher summary. From a stunning new voice in fantasy comes the fierce, romantic story about a world on the brink of destruction, the one witch who holds the power to save it, and the choice that could cost her everything she loves. For centuries, witches have maintained the climate, but now their control is faltering as the atmosphere becomes more erratic, the storms more destructive. All hope lies with Clara, a once-in-a-generation Everwitch whose magic is tied to every season. In autumn, Clara wants nothing to do with her power. It's wild and volatile, and the price of her magic, losing the ones she loves, is too high, despite the need to control the increasingly dangerous weather. In winter, The world is on the precipice of disaster. Fires burn, storms rage, and Clara accepts that she's the only one who can make a difference. In spring, she falls for Sang, the witch training her. As her magic grows, so do her feelings, until she's terrified Sang will be the next one she loses. In summer, Clara must choose between her power and her happiness, her duty and the people she loves, before she loses Sang, her magic, and thrusts the world into chaos.
So here they are, the 10 books I am to read for the Camp Seasonathon for summertime reads, which is now Camp Seasonathon. So here you go. Tell me, have you guys read any of these? Did you like them? Okay. Happy reading.